My name is Max Johnson, and I'm a composer, double bass player, and improviser in Brooklyn, New York, and I want to thank Composers Now for inviting me to talk about my music today. Typically, when I get on the topic of music, no matter whose it is, I get very excited, and I tend to ramble on and on and on, but I'll try to keep things short and concise today so we can learn a little bit more about me and a little bit more about the music that I make. I started playing music when I was 13 years old, and I picked up the electric bass. I wish I had some sort of exciting story to tell as to why that was the instrument, but honestly I can't remember what it was that made me want to play the electric bass. I just knew that it was that I wanted to do it. But the more that I played music, and the more that I listened to music, I realized that the music that I was listening to, jazz, bluegrass, contemporary music, was all being played on acoustic instruments, and so I decided to switch from the electric bass to the upright bass, which is what I still play to this day. And when I got to college at the New School, I studied for many years with Henry Grimes, who really helped me feel that I was an improviser and get some confidence in language playing improvised music. And so even when I'm composing music for performers without an ounce of improvisation in it, I always think that the improvisational impulse is such an important part of my music. Whether it is music for improvisers, trying to create colors and moods and areas for people to grow and create music out of, or if I'm simply sitting at home writing notes on a page, I always want there to be some sort of spontaneity of creation that is happening, whether it's happening before the music is played or whether it's happening while the music is played. So the improvisational impulse is always something that I think is really important in my music. I try to look for inspiration in all sorts of places, whether it's in movies or theater, books, poetry, paintings, and think about the ways that these artists are creating form and creating mood and creating colors, and how can I do the same thing with my music? I feel like every piece of music that I compose is its own planet with its own ecosystem and its own laws that govern what is possible. And so if I'm trying to create a piece of music, one of the most important things to me is figuring out what the characteristics of that music are going to be. Is it going to be something that is monothematic? Is it going to create one mood throughout the whole thing? Or are we going to go from place to place and explore different textures and different areas? And that can be done in all sorts of different ways. Whether it's you're using melodic language, pitch language, colors, what instruments are happening. There's so many different ways to do it, and I feel like with every piece I get to explore new ways to create these little planets and create like a solar system of musical pieces for myself. And with every piece I explore one little bit beyond the last planet and explore a new part of the galaxy. And so when I get to collaborate with performers and compose for performers, I always think that that is such a rich, wonderful opportunity to find out what things that they enjoy and what music they like to make, and allow that to inspire me to create music that perhaps doesn't sound anything like it, but has some sense of a similar energy or some sense of a similar propulsion that I can relate to and connect to that performer with. Or, if I'm improvising with new performers that I've never worked with, the idea that we can come together and both expand our languages in order to create a new language of combined music is a really beautiful and wonderful thing. And I really try to find as much positivity in these moments as possible. Each composition is like an opportunity to grow, both as a composer, but also as a human being. As someone who plays a number of different kinds of music, I find the idea of style very interesting. What are the elements that make a certain style of music that style of music? There's a historical precedent, but each year there are people that come along and take the things that have happened in the past and push them forward, and then there's people that point back even further and say, we should keep things the way they were. And so, what are we to do as musicians that have more than one interest? I find sometimes in certain musical circles, it's very similar to a political party where you're supposed to pick one sort of idealism and stick with it. But in music, I think now that we have everything at our fingertips, the possibilities are limitless, and the idea of style has become oddly worn out, because what means jazz to one person doesn't mean jazz to another person, so the word ends up having this very unclear meaning to people. So you have to figure out what it is that it means to you. And I think the best way to create music is to not think about any sort of ism, or to think about any sort of style, but to think about the music that you love. When I go about studying and listening to music, I try to learn as much as I can about the musics that I care about. Doesn't matter what the genre is, or what sort of style or historical period it is. If I love the way it sounds, I want to know as much as I can about it. And in doing so, you can end up bringing in all sorts of influences from different places, but you can also know that you're not doing it haphazardly because you are doing the work and caring about these things and learning about them and treating them with respect. When I go to compose a piece of music, I don't think about, well, I want to write something that is tonal, or I want to write something that is serial, or I want to write something that follows this exact form. When I start making music, the idea is, what are the ideas that are flowing through my head, and how can I best portray those in the music, and how can I best explore all the possibilities that there are to explore with that music. And I think it helps to create all sorts of surprises when you actually go to write the music. I'm often surprised at the music that comes out when I sit down and write it, and sometimes I'm amazed at how old-fashioned something sounds, or how alien something sounds compared to the rest of my music. And I think that that's a really wonderful and special and spontaneous part of composing. past few years of the coronavirus pandemic, I've had to change my ways of music making. With less opportunities to perform, play, or improvise with other musicians, I've had to look inward for my own inspiration and look for things that I can do to create music by myself or for myself. In doing that, I've had to address more personal issues in my music, whether it be the loss of friendships, the death of friends, or personal or mental health issues that I've been going through over the course of this time. And something beautiful that I've noticed in the composing process is being able to work through and deal with and explore these issues in a language other than the one that I speak. So in my music, I'm able to explore these areas in a way that helps me find peace. And when someone hears that music, they're not necessarily hearing those same problems or those same issues. They're just hearing music. And I think that there's something so beautiful that music means something very different to all of us. And I can create something that for me is very painful or very dark, and it can be heard as something very pretty or very light, or in some cases very ugly and very upsetting, depending who's listening to it. But I found that the more personal I get with my music in the last couple years, it really enables me to interface not only with the music and the listeners, but also the performers, and create a much more personal relationship between everyone who is performing, listening to the music, and myself creating the music. The most important part of music making is having a good community. Being able to surround yourself with people that inspire you not only to create better art, but to be a better person. And something that I've been working very hard at, especially over these last few difficult years, is surrounding myself with people that make me want to be a better person and a better artist. And I want to work as hard as I can to inspire and bring positivity into the lives of the people in my community. And I think it can be as simple as a performer that wants to perform your music, or someone that you can play music with, or a writer whose work inspires you and makes you happy, a painter whose work you like to look at. All of these things can create a sense of community, a sense of warmth, a sense of positivity. Even something as simple as that person you call when you're having a difficult day. That person is going to help you create a better piece of music and live a happier life. And if there's anything that I have come to realize recently, it's that I love the people who I am able to share the stage with, that I am able to make music with, and that I'm able to talk to. And I really want to give that same sense of positivity and that same sense of care to my listeners when they hear the music that I make. Because I'm not just making it by myself, I'm making it with a community. Thank you so much to Composers Now for inviting me to share some of my music and chat a little bit with all of you today. I hope that I get to see you in the future somewhere in the real world. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to talk more about this music anytime, and perhaps we can make some music together in the future. Thank you.